So here I have another Game Boy Advance that is so dirty and used. It's got some kind of adhesive stuck to it that's kept dirt stuck to the console. Maybe people have put sellotape on it or something to hold the batteries in, and that's left a residue. And I can actually see as well what looks like hot glue in where the battery compartment is. So maybe the release mechanism for the battery cover has snapped off, and that's their attempt at holding it in place. But this is, like the previous one, completely covered in dirt and just in a very disgusting state. One thing that is slightly better on this one, and only by a margin, is the bumpers. So I could take the bumpers off this and put it onto the other console that I did in the previous video. But instead, what I have for this one is a replacement housing. I've got a black housing, and then I've ordered red, a sort of translucent purple and yellow buttons to replace. Now, I don't know at the moment which one I'm going to go for. This was my initial pick, but I'm not sure how the translucent effect is going to look with the black case. Anyhow, obviously we need to take this case off, so what I'm going to do with this case is probably clean it up and have it as spares as well with the buttons, just in case in the future I get a Game Boy Advance that is completely ruined. I can just use the spares to replace. So gonna get this open now. So I've come to take out the Phillips screw down here, and it appears that someone, if I can get this close as possible, there's hot glue around this screw. Now, because I'm not too bothered about keeping this case intact, or maybe the screw intact, I don't want to ruin the bit I've got on the end of my screwdriver here, but I'm going to try and just force this out. I've no idea if it's going to actually come. So what I've ended up doing is putting some IPA down there. Now I think it's kind of worked a little bit, but then when the IPA is dried, the glue has settled again. So I'm going to probably just try and apply a little bit more. And then as soon as the IPA is down in there, get the screw on the go and see if I can remove it. But this is proving to be quite stubborn. And as I said, I kind of want to keep, just agitate that around a bit. I kind of want to keep the case in good condition for future, but it's really not allowing me to use any. This is a Phillips? Yep. I can't get any kind of grip at all in the screw. Whilst I'm trying this, I'll let you know I paid £12.59 for this, which for some reason I keep managing to get Game Boy Advances for around £12.59. It was buying a bid. I won the bid at £5, but the postage was £7.59, which is quite poor considering it came in this. I'll zoom this out. It came in this envelope. So there's actually no, let's call up the address here. So this envelope, you can see absolutely no protection whatsoever. It was just an envelope, and this was sat inside. So a bit annoyed that that cost £7.50 to be delivered, but again, I got it for around the £12 mark, which has been a common price for me buying Game Boy Advances lately. So I'm quite pleased with that. However, what I'm not pleased with is this screw being stuck in. So let's continue trying to get at this screw. There we go. Oh, it's moved a bit. And I think we are out. So I've probably stripped the head of that screw quite a bit, but we're finally into it, and I'll take a close look. So you can see here, I think this is why it's been glued. Sticking everywhere. Sorry, it has been split. If this would focus, please. There we go. It's been completely split around the screw hole, you can see there. So whether someone's over tightened it, I don't know. Anyway, on to the important part, which is obviously the board itself. This did boot up when I tested it earlier. I'm not going to bother putting this back on now. It did boot up fine, with no power issues. But obviously, all we really want is the board, so I'm going to take apart all the bits that we don't need. And obviously these can be kept for another one with a bit of cleaning. See again, a lot of dirt around the shoulder buttons. Rest of the board looks okay for now. Contacts are clean. Okay, let's take the board out. Okay, speaker looks okay, nice and clean compared to the previous one. And the board itself looks in to be a good condition. None of the pins look corroded, so sorry, I'm just looking down them best I can see. This might not focus properly here. But none of the pins seem to have any corrosion on, so that's good. The silicone pads didn't stick to the circuit board this time around, so not as filthy. So obviously we don't want these plastic buttons anymore. They can be put to side to be clean later on. Same with the D-pad. But what we're going to do is don't need this anymore. Obviously we need the screen out of it, and I'll take the screen out shortly. Let's get this. So, screen needs to come out. You can set that to the side now, don't need that. And I don't want the lens from it either because it is scratched. So this is from Z Labs. I was looking on Deadpan Robot, but they didn't have the colours that I was looking for. So first we need to do is put the screen on, put the lens on, sorry. So it comes with this plastic one, which isn't amazing, but it'll do. Set that in, and it's not got the best fit compared to the glass one that I put on in the previous video. But that's in, that's fine enough. And then we'll get this screen put in as well. So, same as before, just drop it in there and then make sure it's pressed down around the edges. Looks to be quite nicely lined up, which really there's not that amount of gap that it couldn't be lined up, but that's looking okay. The screen's on. So this is the B button, slots in there, the A button, set that back over the top, and the directional pad. There's no. Now what I did notice, and you can see that there, the discoloration, so it's obviously been bent, the plastic's been bent in either transit or just in storage, but hopefully, and I'm pretty confident you're not going to see that, because one, it's at the back, and two, it'll be that dark you shouldn't be able to see it anyway. So okay, so the buttons are in. Not looking too bad initially. Okay, that looks seated perfectly fine. Go ahead and lock the screen in. And then we'll get the, may as well get the new screws on the go. So I'm going to put the bumpers in now. So this should be the right one. Set it in. Is it right? No, it'll be the left one. Okay, that's set in fine. If a little loose. And that seems to be okay as well. Let's get the bumpers on. It's always 50-50 for me which side these go. So if this goes on here, this is, you want one with the hole and the loop. So obviously put a lanyard in. And then the power switch, which we'll try what purple looks like for now. That's not right, upside down. So that should work, yep. Okay, now to put the back on. So I'm just going to take the battery cover off so I can slide the contacts through. Okay, so again, we need 6 screws now. These ones aren't going to reach unless maybe the top 2 will reach, but instead we're going to use the original ones just because. In fact, no, we'll use 4 of the new ones just to get it all together, and then I'll probably leave the top 2 to be the shallow ones. My god, do these fit? Yeah, they do. It's very tight fit. So let's just give this a zoom in actually. Let's get it zoomed in. Got the purple power button. While we're at it, where is the battery case, just to finish it off? Obviously I'll put the sticker on the back. I don't think there'll be a sticker to go there. So we've got the purple power button, purple bumpers, A and B, shoulder buttons and the D-pad. The only thing that I would probably change is either have these black or have them purple as well, but I don't think I would get anything to match this purple of the buttons. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Okay. And works perfectly fine. So last thing I'm going to do, slap on this sticker. Now this is where let's see how this likes to sit, because once I've put it on there's no real removing it or putting it back on. That could have been a lot better, but that'll have to do. Wasn't sure how tight of a fit it was, but it is literally up to the edges. So I've kind of gone a bit too wide of a gap there compared to this side, but I could always get quite a sharp knife and just trim off the excess here. That's fine. So other than removing the front lens, which I know there should be, there we go, and the fact that, let's just, that was quite satisfying. Other than the lens being grey and kind of, on camera it's not too bad, but it stands out to me in person. Oh, that was interesting. There's a hesitation on the turn on there. Let's go again. Okay. Other than that, everything seems to work perfectly fine. I'm quite happy with how this has turned out. Obviously, it being a very dark colour scheme, the purple doesn't stand out too clear, but I am very happy with how this has turned out. And this is my first Reshell. So what I will do in the future is, obviously I've got red and yellow. I could even stick them on if I really wanted to, because it's just a simple case of swapping them out. But for now, I'm going to leave it as is. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.